What is up, beautiful people? It's Wolfbrother Mythos from the channel Frost and Fists, and welcome to tonight's chat. Good evening, gamers with coffee, Ashley and Greg. So good to see you guys. Welcome to the show tonight, guys. It's been a hot minute. Who is this guy? What does he do here? Oh, wait, guys. I'm Wolfbrother Mythos, and it is my pleasure to do this live stream. I used to be every Friday. But between work and some other stuff going on, it just hadn't been happening lately, has it? Plus, last weekend, I did take a little vacation, take the family down to Project Onicon, which is an anime convention. Family and I had a great time at the convention. And man, kind of, busted my tail, did some hard work before that. So I felt like, maybe it was some a well-deserved vacation this time. But yeah, it's my first time doing a show in a while. I don't even know if I know how to do this, to be honest. We have a different background song on tonight, guys, and I haven't had a chance to listen to it. It's one of those like background kind of lo-fi synthwave kind of things that I like. However, I haven't had a chance to see how it sounds with my current setup, my microphone. So if it's too loud, too quiet, let me know. Current setup, my mic. I was tempted to just kind of flick on the volume there to test it, but my voice is a little too loud in my ears. Plus, I know you guys will get the feedback, so I guess we won't mess with it for now. But if you guys get a chance, let me know if the new music is too loud, too quiet, whatever, because I would appreciate it. Good. I was looking for this John Carpenter mix for Halloween that I thought I had downloaded. Apparently I did not, or I've misplaced it somewhere. Because it just seems like, mid-October is the perfect time to put that on. My wife knows it. It's one we listen to during observation duty quite a lot. It's royalty-free. It's a John Carpenter mix, and it's really good stuff. And I'm hoping by my next show to have that on, because it's perfect for the Halloween season. Oh man, because it's been like 7 years since I've done a show, guys. I've actually worked on quite a bit of Warhammer and other models. This time I have more than just Warhammer to update on, which feels weird, but I have gotten so much done, and so there's so much in my pork chop, my hobby update to go through. So there's a lot of that tonight. There's a lot of talk with the 40K balance update and all the new points changes. And being that I play a lot of armies, I have a lot of interest when it comes to, 40K. I remember when we were just a Space Marine channel, and it was easy to just be like, all right, this is what Space Marines got. Choom, boom, done. But that's not the case anymore. Now I play a lot of armies. It's almost faster to talk about what armies I don't have. So, just that hobby ADD, baby. Yes, ADHD army addiction. You're absolutely right. We're on the same page, brother. Good to see you guys. It took me a little bit, sorry for being late, guys. It took me a little bit to get back into the swing of things, getting, the stream set up. Plus, like I said, I was looking for a couple of things. I was looking for my music, which I thought I had prepped in advance for Halloween. Either I can't find it, or I didn't do it like I thought I did. You guys know how that goes. Thank you, Woods. But yeah, like I said, I thought I had my new music ready to go. Lily just got it resent to me, so now I'll make sure to have that ready to go for next time. Big shout out to my babe there. But yeah, so Halloween stuff coming up. I can't wait to get that new Halloween music. So like I said, I spent some time looking for that. My computer has been acting funny lately. Plus, I've been doing a lot of 3D printing and slicing on my computer, which eats up a lot of memory. I don't know if you guys do a lot of 3D printing or if you guys have any memory issues when you do, but if I'm working with a slicer like a lot, I can start to kind of, just in some cases, especially the bigger files, can eat up a lot of. I'm pointing over this way because that's where my tower is. Can eat up some of the memory processing power of my computer. So I shut that down, restart everything. If there's any lag tonight, I apologize. I have been having trouble with my wireless router lately. I've got a Ethernet cable come tomorrow, see if that helps any. But yeah, just lots of little things, ADDing at the last second, trying to get things nice and fixed up for the show tonight. So hopefully, while it may not be perfect tonight, we'll get it sorted soon, and just improve the quality of the show. Another thing I was looking for is my next hobby project is I like using these airbrush decals from Space Noid. It's a brand I use. And you can see, no, you can't see because it's white on white. But anyways, these are the ones that they call, I thought the name of these were on here somewhere. But anyways, this is one of their like digital space camo style things that I use on my brother Roxas's Battletech miniatures. And that is my next hobby project. I finished my 17 models for my Federated Sons, or as I like to call them, my Synthwave Sons, as part of my mini War Mutts painting challenge last month. I got called away at the end of the month, so I never finished the challenge or put up an update video, and I've been kind of sitting on that since I got back into town. I need to do that because I got most of the miniatures done from that challenge. All of my Federated Sons, or my Synthwave Sons, have been painted with a couple of additions. Like I've got a couple of guard models I showed you guys. I got a couple classic Space Wolves here. These were sent to me by Greg and Ashley from Gamers with Coffee. Big shout out to them. And I painted them up loosely following a tutorial from the Miniatures Paintbrush. I say loosely and inspired by the Miniatures Paintbrush because, you know, I know it didn't come out as well as he could do it. And I definitely don't want to take any credit away. So if they don't look as good as his, it's because of me. It's not because of his tutorial. But I actually like how that came out. And actually, I kind of want to go back and paint up some more Space Wolves in this scheme. But as you can see here, my Synthwave Sons, you know, I've got that lovely color transition there. Lots of blue to purple to pink. All 17, well, I say all 17 of my miniatures, but while we were at Onicon, Brother Roxas gifted me with another box of models for my Synthwave Sons. So I have 4 more models to add to this collection. So that army will be more than 20 mech strong, and I think the average game is played with like, you know, a half dozen models. So I have like 3 times the size of the army I need, but that's okay. I just like painting stuff up in my neat little color scheme. Yes, those are the metal Space Wolves that you guys sent to me way back when. I painted them up before in my modern black and blue Space Wolves color scheme, but I felt like when we were doing the Mini War Mutts painting challenge that such classic models deserved a more classic paint scheme. And so I went back for kind of that blue and yellow of the classic Space Wolves color. So I stripped them down, got them painted up again, and I actually like how they came out in that more classic Space Wolves color that the Miniatures Paintbrush does in his tutorial on those miniatures. So I'm really glad I went back and repainted them. In fact, doing that reminded me, and I wish I had done this when I painted the ones you sent me, but Grumpy Guy Gaming, a hot minute ago, sent me a classic metal Ragnar quite a bit ago. And as the same kind of like classic metal sculpt, just like those guys are, I kind of want to go back and paint him up in the same kind of classic Space Wolf style as well. So he's probably going to be joining those two that you guys sent me. And then, of course, even though I was running late, I definitely took the time. You guys know I like to start the show off typically with a coffee. And so tonight I made myself a little iced coffee from Everyday Dose. Not sponsored, I just like their stuff. But I mean, hey, if Every Dose wants to sponsor, you know, a Wolfbrother, you know, hit me up. I know some people are going to see the amount of, you know, cream and stuff in there and say that's not real coffee. But when I'm having an iced coffee, I want more of an iced latte kind of deal. You know, it's going to get the cream. I typically drink my coffee black, so, you know, I feel like I've got some wiggle room. So that is the first part of my update is 17 Synthwave Sun models, 2 classic Space Wolf metal models, 2 field marshals for my Krieg, which my camera actually locked on pretty quickly to there, which is nice. 2 sergeants for my Krieg. With the Power Fist and Plasma Pistol loadout. Hey, Telemachus, good to see you. And so, like I said, I'm going to do a video on it explaining how far I got in the mini warm-up painting challenge. But those are 23 of the 24 models that I vowed. And if anyone's curious how I got along, remember I said if I did all 23 of those models, I would get to work on the Primarch Robute Gillen for my Ultramarines army. And let me show you what we did with Robute Gillen. Okay, so you guys remember, this was the moment I was building up for. Knock out those 23 and 24 would be a golden opportunity for my Primarch, and this is what we did with him. Absolutely nothing. We got him primed. We got him assembled and primed, and that was it. That is as far as we made. So, yeah. The mini Warmut painting challenge, 23 out of 24 models. Did I make it? I did. Well, let's go here. And it's taking too long to load up. But yeah, that's a big it's a big, tugboat sound. Boo-doo. You failed. Not really a failure, though. I mean, I got 23 models painted up. I didn't have painted up at the beginning of the mini warm-up challenge. And considering I didn't start until I was halfway through, I feel like I put up a pretty good fight. Why am I so late on putting up a video? Well, just before the end of the month, I got a call about the hurricane situation going out in North Carolina. And, of course, I went and worked there for about a week. And I was just away from my computer. Didn't have pictures, so I didn't do an update video. But yeah, that's my update. Basically, I'm showing you guys now. I knocked out 23 out of 24. I did not mess with those since I got home. Those were already painted up. But yeah, so I got close, but no cigar, guys. I wouldn't say I failed because I got a lot of miniatures painted that I vowed, but I did not succeed. Well, thank you very much, Ashley. I feel good about what I got painted. So after that, I did some repairs. Oh, I think I put them up already. I apologize. I had 2 wolf lords I showed you guys a few weeks ago that got kind of banged up in the narrative event I took my wolves to a couple months earlier this year. Things like a thunder hammer broke. One of my models broke off the snapped off the base because of some basing issues. Just little pieces of weapons, war gear, just decorations. Okay, some cases just got broken off. Yes, that is one of the things I am talking about tonight, Keegan. So anyways, one of the things I focused on this week was just knocking out those repairs, repainted and converted a couple new weapons. Basically just, repainting and re-gluing all the little bits that needed repairs, which took a little bit longer than I expected, but it feels good to have that done. All of my Thunder Wolves and whatnot are now back to looking nice. And from my very first game, this one, like my entire Custodes army is magnetized, for the most part. And so I took him to my game with Brother Atlas, the very first game with my Custodes. And this guy, because he has a solid base instead of a hollow base where I would normally put the magnets, I didn't magnetize him, and I'm sure I could find a solution for that. But because I was running, I didn't want to be late to my game with Brother Atlas, I was like, he'll be fine. So he was the only model not magnetized down in my box, and he got kind of banged around in the car, and his weapon arm broke, and it's like in two places, like the sword blade, no, in three places, the wrist and the elbow all broke. It's a forge, or it's resin, and sometimes they can just, when they snap, they can just really snap. And then while I was trying to fix that, I realized that this arm wasn't fully secure on, like it was pinned, and I guess the glue didn't set right, and so just a little pressure down kind of like popped this out of socket, and so the shield arm was gone. And apparently where it bounced around the car, I don't think I'll have the lighting to show you. You can kind of see right there, the Aquila on his chest is kind of broken. From where I was doing repairs, I was trying to get off a piece of the shoulder where the arm had snapped off. I was trying to separate the shoulder from the body so I could print and replace a clean new arm. And that didn't go so well. So like part of where the shoulder broke off kind of damaged some of the chest armor and the Aquila, which is just battle damage now. It looks pretty cool. I mean, I was really upset when it happened, but now it just looks like a little battle damage. It'll be all right. But you can see I got the shield arm fixed. I got the sword arm reprinted, repainted, reposed. I think one of the major reasons it snapped before was because it was in an arm over the head kind of pose. And so when it bounced around in the car, I think the sword blade kind of hit the roof of the magnetized container and just put some kind of pressure to snap here and here on the model. And so I reposed it when I printed out the new one and turned the blade sideways and have more of like that kind of Spartan-esque style, spear from the side of the shield kind of motion going. And I think it looks cool. Plus, I mean, it not only looks cool, it feels more secure there than just the sword sticking up way over the model. So a little bit of conversion, a little bit of repairing there. Plus, because there were scratches all over it from where the broken pieces of resin kind of rubbed against it during the car ride, there were basically, most of this had to be kind of stripped back down, reprimed, and painted back over. And so it was kind of like almost starting with just kind of the trunk of the body and repainting it, rebuilding it again. So it's kind of like I painted the same model twice. So the repairs, as you can see, are done with this. Now what I need to do is drill out a couple of holes in here. I think I'm going to do 4 since it's a heavy, kind of chunky resin model. I think I'm going to drill out about 4 holes here to put magnets in. And yeah, and so next time it'll be secure in the box. So, I fixed a couple of Thunderwolves. I fixed this Dreadnought. I've been mostly kind of a repair and replace and repaint kind of mode. Have a great night, my brother. I'm off to bed. It's been a week. Much love. Much love to you too, brother. Have a great night and rest well. Looks amazing. Just drill a small hole in the base for a few maggots. Exactly. That's the plan, man. Looks amazing. Thank you so much. As a tank lover like yourself, and as someone who I've been sneakily trying to talk into playing some Imperial Guard, because we have the best tanks. When I started, my Imperial Guard army was in 8th edition. And the best way to play tanks at the time, unfortunately, was to keep them super cheap, take the cheapest weapons, take no extra weapons, and of course now we're in the time of free war gear, where it's like you're kind of underpowering yourself if you're not taking the best war gear. And so my Demolisher tanks were just the tank body, the main Demolisher cannon up front, and the cheapest gun you could take in the front, a heavy bolter. But heavy bolters aren't super great for Demolishers because you're going to need to get close to your enemy anyways, and so having a close range tank buster like multi-meltas would actually be more optimal. Oh, and you never took things like the Stubbers or the Hunter-Killer missiles because they were just, at the time, wasted points. But now that I've been playing with the free war gear, and I didn't just immediately jump on the bandwagon, like when 9th edition Codex came out and stuff like that. You know, I played it for a hot minute. I think I played it for the, what, 5 minutes that we had out the 9th edition codex. And I've played it for the last year. We're a little over a year of 10th edition. A year and a half maybe. And I played it all through then. And I was like, you know, I really like playing with the beefed up tanks. And I think if we ever go back to where we're paying for tanks, I'll happily just keep paying for the cool stuff because I like running with the cool stuff. So basically, I printed out the sponsons for these tanks because I did not have sponsons. These tanks, or all the bodies I got were secondhand. And so I didn't have these sponsons. So I printed out some sponsons. I picked the coolest ones, which are the multi-meltas, especially for a tank buster like these little demolisher tanks. And I put the coolest weapon, the las cannon, on the front instead of the heavy bolter. So I had to do some surgery. I went in with some pliers and kind of popped out. And thankfully, it was just super glue, not plastic glue, you know, not as tight of a bond. Here we go. I was about to say, I know I have them on my desk somewhere. So I just took some pliers and pried out, you know, the old heavy bolters, replaced them with these cool las cannons, because las cannons are cool tank busting weapons. Las cannons have range 48. They're like strength 12. They do d6 plus 1 damage. They're just really cool. I got these heavy stubbers here. Now, stubbers usually go up top where the hatch is. The idea is that somebody will pop out of the top hatch of these tanks and fire the machine gun, the heavy stubber. But I felt like with all the extra stuff going on up top here between the main turret, the hunter killer missile that I wanted to put on, which by the way, I 3D printed these. They look pretty good up here, I think. They're smaller than the Games Workshop hunter killer missiles, and I think they fit in with the look of the turret better than the big ones. Especially for just a one-shot weapon, right? But since I wanted to put this up there, and then a couple of my tanks, you know, I've even put on like the little like radar dish or whatever. I just felt like it was getting too cluttered up top. And so they have a little vision slit on the, you can kind of see right there the angle, the vision slit there. And so basically I just drilled a hole where the vision slit was and put the, I clipped just the barrel of the heavy stubber and put that in kind of the vision slit. So you could have somebody up front, you know, somebody get on the 50 cal from the inside and safety of the tank. And so, yeah, so this is like, this used to be a, for years, I had this as just the stock bones cheap, you know, bare bones, dirt cheap Lehman Russ Demolisher. It's now the super cool, you know, you still got the cool Demolisher, but you've got the upgraded Hunter Killer Missile. You've got the upgraded 50 cal here. You've got the upgraded las cannon here. You've got the upgraded Melta sponsons. It's fully decked out and upgraded. And I've got two of them that I've done this way. So there's the next one. Again, printed out the sponsons. Las cannon, the 50 cal up front, or heavy stubber, the Hunter Killer Missile. I really feel like right there, the vision slit there is the perfect place to put that little 50 cal. So I've got two Demolisher Lehman Russes I did that way. And here, so the multi-melta has a range of 24 inches. This one I put on heavy bolter, big machine gun sponsons, because the Vanquisher cannon is going to be shooting from across the board. You know, it's a long distance tank buster weapon. It's like 72 inches, I want to say, for a Vanquisher or something like that. And so these shoot at 36 inches. I figured might as well leave on the long distance guns since this turret up here is long distance. It's still got the cool Hunter Killer Missile upgrade. It's still got the cool little, you know, heavy stubber upgrade. And then it's still got the las cannon upgrade, which is another tank busting weapon. And like I said before, it's 48 inches on the las cannon. And so, you know, I think this is just, I still went up with the cool sponsons. By the way, these are the official GW sponsons. Like I said, my tank bodies are all secondhand, and this one happened to come with the classic GW sponsons. But yeah, so I decided to, while I was upgrading this, to leave the missile or the machine guns on. But other than that, it got decked out with everything else. Got the missile, las cannon, heavy stubber. So upgrade on all of those. So hey there, friendly neighborhood inquisitor. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Magnetic tape for the base. Oh yeah, I like magnetic tape, but I haven't found a magnetic tape that is as strong magnet-wise as I like. Especially for a chunky resin beast like that. Looks amazing. Thank you, Keegan. Yeah, I'm definitely looking at switching, especially since Greg wants to do some one-page rules. Yes, join us on the tank side. Hell yeah, they look great. Thank you so much. That was a great idea. Gets to shoot from cover. Oh, no, with the putting the machine gun in the little vision slit. I like that idea too. Plus, honestly, I did it for aesthetic reasons because I wanted to keep the top of the turret looking a little more slimline and not as cluttered. But yes, definitely the cover reason too. Yes. The sponsons you printed look better, I think. Oh, thank you. Yeah, the GW sponsons definitely look a bit chunkier. And I think the more rounded look of the GW or of the printed sponsons also just makes it look a little more mobile, I think. Friendly neighborhood inquisitor, my man. I'm doing well. I have had it's been kind of a, like I worked my butt off last week, and then this weekend I was on vacation, and so this week was like a really kind of slow, not getting back into things as much as I should, kind of putting off some work here and there, but I'm going to get back into it. But I have been printing like a madman. Oh, for an upcoming game with Brother Atlas, I just had a few points left over, and so I've been wanting to try one of these rapier laser destroyers in our games, and so I printed one out. Atlas uses 3 of them in his army all the time. I printed out a trio for him before, and so I've got one printed out. I'm going to paint that up soon. We have a game upcoming sometime soon, maybe next week, maybe the week after, whenever he's back in town, but that'll be fun. So I printed that up, and I kind of printed that up while working on something else. I'll get to the printing here in just a second. My next project, like I said, I finished my Battletech miniatures, and so mine are the Federated Sons, and Brother Roxas is doing the clans. He's doing Clan Snow Raven. There we go. I think that's the sweet spot away from the glare. So I'd have 17 miniatures. One of the things I was looking around for is I thought there was a third box. I'll have to ask him when I see him, because there are 10 miniatures here. I have 17 in my Federated Sons, but that's because I bought an extra box for myself. But so I really thought there were some more Snow Ravens for his set. And he already has one that I painted up for him, so that'll bring his total to 11. But yeah, I'll have to check with him. I think there might be another box for Clan Snow Raven somewhere. Clan Snow Raven, just to show you guys, I think I have this close by. I don't know if I've ever shown off the paint job I did on his miniature before. Oh my gosh, don't look at those windshields. Oh. All right. Articles and art. There we go. So this is the clan Snow Raven here. You can see it's got black armor. It's got some of the green. I went with because of the clan Snow Raven. I'll show you the clan Snow Raven logo and flag here in a second. But it's basically this kind of teal green color with black and sometimes gray, and you can see kind of like some of the gray camo on the black. And so black, gray, and you can see the brightest. It's a camo pattern, but I think being bright turquoise is not, you know, super camo, but that's kind of the color scheme I was going for here. And then also you can see I kind of like sprinkled, so I have some snow on the base here, but to kind of fit it in with the theme, you can see I took some of that snow basing and sprinkled it in kind of into the joints here and here, just to make it look like it's been running through the snow. So yeah. And just to show you why I've chose, even though I'm doing like a, you know, a little bit of a digital camo pattern, the reason why I'm using such bright colors is because that's the clan Snow Raven logo colors. That's their army colors. So yep, that was the first piece, the test piece. Obviously, I'm going to clean it up a little bit now that I have some experience with Battletech miniatures. Yeah. One thing I wasn't super happy with is the technique I used. My first time using some of the fluorescent paints, and I think this was my first go with Necron Tesseract Glow. Before I started using the fluorescent, and that's why it's kind of goopy in the corners. I didn't really like how it came out trying to use it for a windshield effect, so I think I'm going to go straight with you know, a different mix this time. But yeah, you can kind of see the little camo pattern up here a little better too. It's got some zigzags here. Anyways, so that, I mean, you can really, you can just see a bunch of commander hair everywhere. Sorry about that. All right, so that is my next project. I've got 10 models to do for Brother Roxas's army. And then on top of that, I've got like a bajillion mercenaries to do for our campaign. And I think the mercenaries that I'll be painting up, I won't do in a solid color, like a unified color scheme, like I did all of my Synthwave Sons the same. I'm going to do all of the Snow Ravens in the black and gray and turquoise, like I just showed you guys there. But the mercenaries, of course, I'm pretty much going to try and go by their artwork in the book for inspiration. I'm not going to, you know, say 100% I'm going to do that exact color scheme. But I'm going to look in the book for inspiration on how I'm going to paint them up, just because I feel like mercenaries, they don't usually put on the uniform, right? Mercenaries are just happy to show up in whatever they're wearing or whatever their paint scheme is and go to war. So that's why I'm going to paint up the mercenaries separately. Did you put some white down before the Tesseract Glow? Yes, sir. Tesseract Glow can be temperamental. That's why I've not made a custom fluoro green plus yellow blend. Oh, that's why I've made my own fluoro green plus yellow blend now to substitute. I agree. That's why I mentioned the fluoro paints, because like now I have my personal favorite fluorescent paints. Not sponsored in any way. In fact, these are a little more expensive than most fluorescent paints that I've used. So, but Golden brand fluorescent paints, my absolute favorite go-to as far as fluorescents go. All of my like super vibrant pink stuff you see, like my power sword effects and stuff like that, that's basically what I'm using. Happy freaking Friday, Mr. Fish. Wow. Man, it's some good news. Good news for the orcs this go around, isn't it, brother? I was like, okay, now I've talked about my pork chop. So now we can get to the news. One more. Ashley has already painted Gamers with Coffee's big little diorama piece of I can't even remember what mech this is, but this is the big diorama style piece from the Kickstarter, and that is the last piece that I'm going to be doing for the Snow Ravens. Is that done up for my brother Roxas's army? Okay, so I don't know if I have any classic Knights of the Old Republic fans in the chat, but I've really been into Shatterpoint lately, and oh my gosh, where's Revan? Did he fall? Did he break? I hope he's okay. Oh, I have a missing Jedi. That's not good. Anyways, oh wait, I think I see him. Please don't be broken. Yes, okay. So, Knights of the Old Republic. I'm going to be doing a light side Revan. And I'm making a Knights of the Old Republic team in Shatterpoint. And so, one team will be Revan with his trusty droids. Well, before his trusty droids, he'll have his apprentice, Juhani. She's not really his apprentice, but she was assigned to him because he teaches her how to overcome her anger and, you know, avoid from falling to the dark side. And so she kind of becomes, you know, his apprentice by proxy in the game. And his two reliable droids, T3M4, cute little beep boop droid. And of course, not one of everyone's favorite, but many people's favorite droid, the dark side assassin droid HK-47, who lovingly refers to humans as meatbags. Okay, the other team will be led by Jedi Sentinel Bastilla Shan. Bastilla with her double-sided lightsaber. Her second in command will be Cartho Nassi, Republic hero and defender. And basically commander of the fleet. And I will be running these two as Rebel Commandos, because I think they're elite enough to be commandos. Is the Wookiee Zalabar, who is the Guardian owing a life debt to his best friend, the Twi'lek Mission Vao, or Bao, whom I've already painted up. Now, in the game, Mission wears a beige vest. However, I did hers in green when I painted her, because in the game, one of the best lightweight armors you can get for a scout is called the Ichani Fiber Armor. And usually, as soon as I recruit her into the game, I put her into the Ichani Fiber Armor and leave her in it for the rest of the game. So that's why my mission is wearing green, because the whole point of this project is to enhance those feelings of nostalgia for one of my favorite games in the universe. Talking about the orcs, good news and bad news. Great news for my heart, bad news for the weekend tournament that required lists last weekend. So technically I'm at 90 points deficit, but c'est la vie. That's a shame. Good for your heart, though. Good for your heart. Now these models I can't take credit for. Like, I guess technically I printed Revan, but most of those Star Wars models were from Etsy. So I kind of just got a couple, 2 at a time or so on Etsy, between paychecks. So yeah, Etsy's a great place to find some really obscure models. And my next thing, because like I said, it's just been so many weeks since I've done a show. I have so many things to update you guys on. I have been printing and printing and printing like a madman. So right now I'm doing a project for Brother Roxas. Got to bounce, got to work in the morning. You have a great night. Rest well, Brother Keegan, and don't work too hard in the morning. But one thing I wanted to show you guys, so I'm working on a big project for Brother Roxas. The other project I'm working for is next month is Brother Kane's birthday, one of my best friends in the world. And Kane has a small salamander's arm. He loves dragons. Dragons is one of his favorite things ever, right? And so I started, I think a year, 2 years ago, I started with a small force of salamanders for him. I gave him basically a firstborn, because this was before they started phasing out firstborn. I gave him 1 tactical squad, a firstborn captain, and a Hellblaster squad, and a Redemptor Dreadnought. A very small, but pretty cool force. And I'm just expanding that this go round. Articles and art. And so far, I have printed off a Primaris Lieutenant with Plasma to add to his Plasma and Power Fist. To add to his Hellblasters, because Hellblasters are just infinitely better when they have a Lieutenant to give them lethal hits. Because these are salamanders, I've printed off 6 aggressors with the flamers. Well, actually, these are Atlan Forge pattern, and so they have kind of flamers, double flamers on one fist, double bolsters on the other fist, basically so you can run them however you want to. And I have, to lead those on the printer right now, I have a Gravis Captain coming. So he'll basically have the Gravis Captain Flamestorm combo going on here with all of these salamander aggressors. Adding to the list of chunky Gravis boys, he'll also have a squad of Eradicators here. I debated on giving him 1 or 2 squads of these, but like his list is already kind of short range, and these are only 24 inches, so I'm just printing him 1 now. I may add more later. So I've got some Eradicators, some of the best anti-tank in the Space Marines army. And I've got this 3D print of Vulcan, the Primarch Vulcan, to run, because basically it's a big, badass, dragon armored, two-handed hammer model. Adrax, the Primaris leader they have, Adrax Agatone, is a big two-handed dragon armored badass, and I just kind of like this file here for this Vulcan. So this is going to be basically my version of Adrax for him. He'll have a Primaris leader, and Adrax Agatone is really a badass with some Blade Guard, so I'm printing him out some Blade Guard as well. Currently I have 5 Intercessors on the printer, and also Vulcan Hestan, because when he got into Salamanders, he said specifically, hey, this guy in the dragon armor with the spear made of fire looks really cool. And I found a great little Primaris file for that as well. So that's on the printer right now. And so, yeah, he's going to get basically just like, he's going to go from having a 500 point, Space Marine Army force, to basically he's going to have at least a 1,500 point army or more by the time we're done. So, and then I'm going to try and make it a point. His birthday is, like I said, halfway through next month. And so the goal is to paint up the Battletech stuff for Brother Roxas, or at the very least the Snow Ravens, and then try and knock out the Salamander stuff by Brother Kane's birthday next month. So, yeah, we'll see. Hey, Mythos, I found a file on cults that I plan to use for my dragon exemplar that would be great for helmets for salamanders if you want to use for his army. That would be awesome. I'd love to see it. I found a couple of helmets that I'm using. One that I got from Station Forge because I'm sub to them, and one that I got that's called Dragon Tactical Helmets, and I'd be happy to share those files with you as well. Awesome. Thank you. So, yeah. So basically, what you see here, plus a squad of Blade Guard, a squad of Intercessors coming, and, oh, and then, the guys with the Pyroblasters, the Infernus Squad. I mean, what Salamander's army doesn't have an Infernus Squad, right? So I'll need to get some of those for them as well. Oh, I forgot, I've shown you guys on the camera. I took some glamour shots of my the stuff I've been painting and repairing lately. So there's my tanks. Nice little close-up. I had been doing my missiles in white because I didn't want to detract from the green paint job of where I was airbrushing these models. But then finally on these little hunter killer missiles I decided to go for it. I think it doesn't really, like, they pop out for sure. And they are kind of like the first thing you notice, but I don't think it like really detracts from them. So I might go back and do all my missiles red tip now. And then the updated picture of my Dreadnought, the Galatis. All right, so that finally is my updated pork chop. That is everything I've been working on for the last like 8 weeks. So now we can finally, with an hour left in the show, jump over to a bunch of news. Let's see, tabletop news. We'll start with the points, because the points are like the number one thing I wanted to talk about. Don't want the errata, I just want the points. $10.16, boarding action companion, FAQ, errata, index. Okay, so I think I need to go on each of these individually. So I guess we'll start with Space Marines. Actually, I'll just go in kind of in order. Custodes. I do play Custodes. Nope, that's not points value. Okay. Oh, here we go. Minotaurum Field Map. Minotaurum Field Manual. There we go. All right, sororitas. I'm not there yet. I do have an army I do plan on starting this year. But the only reason I want to stop and look is because this is some of the stuff that I have models for that I'm going to be looking at eventually taking. I have Zephyrim, which is good. They got a buff here, but like Morvenn Vahl got and the Paragon Warsuits. Those are things I was looking forward to building the most. They just got nerfed. I mean, I don't really blame them because they did have such a crazy win rate lately. They're trying to incentivize people taking, actual battle line sister squad. That makes sense. The tank, the Castigator, is one of the things I'm super looking forward to. That's been nerfed. The Dominion squad, everybody takes the heavy weapons, right? The Immolator, people like taking their heavy weapon squad usually as 5 men in an Immolator. Makes sense. The Triumph of St. Catherine has been like one of the... That's basically the auto-include for this army, so it makes sense that she got nerfed. So, just a couple of things, but like, basically the tank that I really wanted to take, the leader I really wanted to take, and, the kind of dreadnought girls I wanted to take were just like, ugh! It's not a big deal, because like I said, I'm not playing them yet, but it's just like, oh man. Not a ton of changes for my Custodes, which I've only used, I think, one or two games so far. But it is cool. Trajan Valorous came down. I think he's much more usable at 140 points and gives me a reason to finish painting him up. Contemptor Dreadnought, Virtus Praetors, the bikers. So 2 to 3 models. You get them for cheaper now. Again, I've just put them into one of my lists now that they're cheaper. You know, they'll have a better place in the army. I'm glad nothing got nerfed in Custodes because they have been very touch and go all edition. The Achilles and the Galatas, these are the special Custodes dreadnoughts. The Achilles has the big las cannon spear, and the Galatas is the one that I just showed you with the sword and shield. And those got decreases in points. I'm looking forward to those. I have a Galatas, and I think I have a Achilles that I need to put together. So that'll be cool. The Admech. I have an Admech army. I haven't touched them at 10th edition, so we're going to skip over them for now. Titanicus is just a completely different game. The Eldar, I'm not into them yet. I do have Eldar. Actually, I have Brother Brother Darklight's Eldar that I want to play at some point. The Astra Militarum. Alright, so this is one of my more familiar armies. So first thing right off the bat, people were taking a huge amount of Bulgrin, which are the mace and shield Ogrin. And some of the competitive lists were running a full 18 of these Bulgrins on the table, replacing the majority of their objective holding troops with these huge Ogrin, which is, I mean, pretty cool, but it's going to be a bit less viable now that they're more expensive. In contrast, their ranged brothers, the Ogrin, have been given a huge discount. Look at this. Almost half the price. 60 points for 3 Ogrins, which, you know, yeah, they don't have a shield for the defense, and they don't have as much melee, but they're basically each carrying an 18-inch heavy bolter, which is pretty awesome. And so if you want some serious DACA, you know, that's half the price of their melee brothers here. So I'm loving the discounts on the Ogrin right now. The Field Ordnance Batteries. I'm pretty hyped about those. Those were just getting too expensive, especially since artillery has been getting nerfed over and over and over again. So seeing 2 of these guys, because they were like at least like 130 at one point, 120, 100 points for 2 models now. I'm definitely looking forward to taking them soon. Heavy weapon squads. Oh man, I have so many heavy weapon squads. I just love using heavy weapon squads. I have 1 set of 3 las cannons, 1 set of 3 autocannons, a full 9 mortar teams. I just love using the heavy weapon squads. I mean, I used to never leave home without the full squad of 9 mortars. And then some of the las cannons for some of that anti-vehicle DACA. I just love running heavy weapon squads, and so it's good to, you know, see them so cheap now because I can start spamming them again. We talked about the Ogrin. The Scout Sentinels. It's weird that they got buffed because they were already super good, and now that they're doing the same job even cheaper, getting the Scout move, getting being able to pick a unit within 18 inches and saying, okay, you're going to get reroll 1s against that unit, and on top of that, if you have artillery, you're basically going to be able to say, all right, if any artillery shoots at that, they can ignore penalties. I mean, it's just, Scout Sentinels are so good. And if you take them, obviously, you can take them in a unit of 3, as it shows here. But one of the things that I find super cool is that, you know, if you only have 3, you could take them as 3 singular models and then mark 3 different targets every turn as saying you're getting reroll 1s here, you're getting reroll 1s here, you're getting reroll 1s here. So at 55 points a model, you know, I mean, that's such a super cheap investment, you know. So what, at 115 points, you can mark 3 different targets and say getting reroll 1s. It's so good. And then on top of that, each of them can bring a las cannon, so you're getting some good anti-vehicle damage. Each of them can bring a hunter killer missile, again, bringing more good damage. I mean, It's like each of them is like a las cannon platform that can give buffs to your army. It's so good. The tank commander. This, at first, a lot of people were upset because it's gone up 15 points, and tank commanders are already expensive. But this isn't 15 points of nerf. This is 15 points to. It's a 15 points of payment is what it is, because what you're paying for now is it has been super buffed. Okay, the big downside to tank commanders in 10th edition, at least, is they didn't have the squadron keyword, and because of that, they didn't have access to the army rule, born soldiers, which gives lethal hits. Before, it was anytime that model stood still. Now it's been changed in the last balance patch. I want to say it's anytime that a vehicle, if you're there a squadron unit targeting a vehicle or monster, you're automatically getting lethal hits. And that is so huge, because now you're getting access to the army rule. It's felt kind of bad having your commander of all people not having access to the army rule. The rule your entire army gets are the people driving those tanks not born soldiers. You know, it was pretty crazy, but now they get access to that army rule. Now they get lethal hits, and they can order themselves now, and they can receive orders from other tank commanders. So it's so good. So now, you know, when before, when we had the old codex, the 8th edition codex, you used to take 3 tank commanders every time, because what you were paying for was reliability. You know, you can always take this guy who's going to order himself. He's going to take aim. He's going to have better shooting, right? And that's kind of what you're getting here. He can give his own order every turn, and he's just very reliable, being able to manage himself every turn. And so, yeah, it's 15 more points, but you're getting some really nice reliability in being able to give himself orders and access the army rule. So I'm really hyped about the changes in the field manual. I mean, for the Astromilitarum, the guard. Let's just be honest, it's not the Astromilitarum. You're the guard, son. Now, one scary thing is it's such a good buff. I really hope this isn't them being nice right before our codex comes out next, or at the beginning of the year, and just for them to get slapped back down. That's kind of what happened with our 9th edition codex. I loved the 9th edition codex. A lot of people prefer what's going on in 10th. I love the 9th edition codex. That's my favorite. I mean, I've only been playing since 8th editions, but that so far for me has been my favorite 8th edition. I mean, 9th edition was my favorite codex, that short-lived codex. And I really feel like they gave us some nice stuff just to be slapped down. You know, at the end of the edition, we had just a couple of months of the codex before everybody got reset to the index. So I hope we're not getting this nice tank commander buff and these nice scout sentinel buffs and the Ogren buffs and the field ordnance battery buffs, heavy weapon squads, just for them to all get their teeth kicked in when the new codex comes out. Because we have had a couple of disappointing codexes. The Custodes being the biggest example I can think of. And the Gene Stealer Colts, a lot of them feel like they didn't get a very good codex. I mean, they had stuff taken away from them. And I'm hoping the same isn't for the Astromilitarum. Anyways, that's just a side thought there. Black Templars. Chaplain Grimaldus has been nerfed, but the generic Castellan has been buffed. Only 60 points for Castellan now. The Crusader squads have been nerfed by a few points. Higher Marshal Helbrecht is 130 points now. That's a bit of a nerf. The Standard Marshal buffed to only 75 points. And then the Crusader squad. Of course, Templars were one of the best performing Space Marines, so it makes sense that they got swatted kind of hard, but you know, hate to see it. Blood Angels. So this isn't just really points changes for them. These are their official points following the release of their codex, because you guys know how it goes. They put out a codex, and then like a few weeks later they say, okay, these are the points that go with your codex. The points that were printed in your codex actually don't mean anything, which I'm a little miffed about, but I mean, it is what it is. The Ball Predator I'm not sure. Not many people were taking the Ball Predator. I'm not sure why it needed a little bit of a nerf, just a few points. The Blood Angels Captain is 80 points. I don't think it's marked here in red, but I don't think he had his own data sheet before. Now you can take the Infernus Pistol and I think the Hand Flamer on the Captain, which is what makes him a specific Blood Angels Captain. But at 105 points, Astaroth looks great. Mephiston is 125. Yeah, he's a little expensive, but he's got the lone op stuff, which really makes him great for doing objectives and just being a doing that lone operative stuff and just playing the mission really well. Mephiston is super good for that right now. Plus, he is hard to kill. I think he's got a 4 in Feel No Pain. And so the fact that he's got the lone operative, so you can't target him outside 12 inches. You get inside 12 inches, he can fight first. And he's got a 4 Feel No Pain. And he's just a really strong lone operative. So if you need someone doing missions on his own, 125 points seems like a lot, but it's actually pretty good for what he brings to the table. Commander Dante is 130. It's kind of expensive, but he's basically a flying Terminator captain, so, you know, it's not that bad. The Death Company captain, I think the Death Company works better with the flying chaplains myself, so I'm not sure why you would take the captain. But he's 70 points. Captain with Jump Pack is 85. Death Company Dreadnought, one model, 180 points. He's just basically a better Brutalis Dreadnought, so I think 180 is fair there. The Ball Predator has been consistently bad, so the nerf was weird. That's what I'm saying. Like, nobody's taking the Ball Predator anyways, and its weapons are not that good for a Predator. I think the classic Predator put a bunch of las cannons on. Like, I have my Ultramarine Predator with the double las cannon on top and then 2 single las cannon sponsons. Having consistently 3 las cannon shots, one of them twin linked every turn, that little sucker for a cheap firstborn tank consistently makes its points back all the time. The Ball Predator, to me, with the anti-infantry weapons, has just always been kind of the worst version of that. And the fact that it's a worse version at 135 points, it really didn't need the nerf, I don't think. Death Company Marines. Now, these got changed in the Codex with the new Primaris unit. They are a little cheaper at 90 points, but they no longer can just spam Thunderhammers and Power Fists throughout the entire squad. If I remember correctly, you can, in a 5-man squad, you can get like 3 Chainswords, 2 Power Fists, and an Eviscerator, which is still good. You're still getting quite a bit of 2 damage weapons, and honestly, you're going to take the Chainsword guys as your casualties first. But so I think it's still fine. I'm looking forward to running Death Company Marine in my own list, but it is definitely not as good as it used to be. I'm sorry, you're going to get 1 Power Fist and one Power Fist? Okay, now I have to look it up. I was giving you guys the stats for the Death Company with Jump Packs, which is going to be 2 Power Fists and 1 Eviscerator. That I memorized. The Foot Death Company I did not memorize. Alright, Death Company Intercessors. I'm looking in the wrong app. Here's the Warhammer app. Any Power Rangers fans out there, I call my Blood Angels list Forever Red. You guys let me know if any of you know that. Alright. Death Company Marines. One person can have his heavy bolt pistol replaced with Inferno pistol, which is nice, or plasma pistol. One can take an Eviscerator. One can take a Thunderhammer Power Fist. So yeah, you take one Power Fist or Thunderhammer, one Eviscerator. So yeah, just 2 weapons there. You're going to get 3 chain swords and two upgraded weapons. And then with the Just Company with jump packs, you're going to get 3 upgraded weapons because you'll be able to take 2 Power Fists and 1 Eviscerator. So I'm still looking forward to running Death Company, even though a lot of people are disappointed by the weapons that they lost from the Firstborn Death Company. I'm still looking forward to taking them in my list. Boy, I was starting to really just a bit there, huh? Lamartes, 110 points, and Lamartes is definitely continues to be the best chaplain to go with the Death Company. And so his points have gone up a little bit, but I think that's going to be perfectly fine. In fact, his buffs are so good for Blood Angels, you're going to want to run him in a squad of 10 Death Company with jump packs. Yes! Inquisitor, you are my man. Yes, Forever Red was the name of the crossover special when all the Red Rangers fought side by side. Yes! Oh, the fact that you know that. You know what? You now have 100 DKP. You are on the board scoring more points than anyone else in chat right now. That's awesome. Yeah, that's the name of my Blood Angels list, is Forever Red. Sanguinary Guard. A lot of people, well, let me go back. A lot of people don't like the new Death Company models because it is just intercessors and jump pack intercessors with an upgrade sprue. And I feel like that's the wave of current 40k. Not because, and a lot of people are blaming it on Primaris. They're like, Primaris is so bland, Primaris is so flavorless, yada yada yada. I don't think it's because of Primaris. I think because if you look at things, the way things have been going for Games Workshop lately, they have been more profitable in the last few years than they have at any edition previous. And I think part of that is strategy to stay as profitable as they have been is spend less money on unique kits and more and allocate more of those funds to things that start out generic, that they can slap an upgrade sprue on and send it out. And I feel like that's what they've done here with the Death Company, and I'm not mad about it. And I know, as a, Space Wolves are my first love. That's why I'm the Wolfbrother Mythos. I fully expect that to be when Primaris Blood Claws come out. It's just going to be Assault Intercessors and an upgrade sprue. And I get it. That's how they're making money right now. Less unique kits, more upgrade sprues, slap on a generic kit. And again, it's not because Primaris is flavorless. It's because they're making their money by taking these intercessors that they can just sell to all Space Marine players and selling you an upgrade kit, and boom, call it a day. It's going to cost them more money to make. This is the super flavorful Blood Angels kit. This is a super flavorful Space Wolves kit. Yada, yada, yada. When it turns out at the end of the day, they're all Space Marines with bolters and chainswords. Yes, I am indeed a big old dork. Well, the fact that I made the reference for you to get means I am also a big old dork. I say big old in a very loose fashion, though, because I'm only 5'4", but you know what I mean. Look, I won't complain as long as Salamanders get a better upgrade kit. Man, I feel you there, brother. Although, like we were talking about earlier with the 3D printed bits, man, there's some companies and even just STL makers out there making some great looking Salamanders upgrades. Sanguinary Priest, up to 90 points. I like the new Sanguinary Priest model too. Sanguinary Guard, 135 points for 3 of these guys. And they're beefy. They have invul saves now. I really like how chunky and just like buff the new ones look. I just hate that they don't have the rings anymore. But I have pledged to the STL company, not Primal Hounds, that was their last Kickstarter, Great Hide Studios, their Blood Angels. I have pledged to Great Hide Studios Blood Angels upcoming Kickstarter to get some STL files from them. I'm going to get the wings from them. I'm going to slap them onto some Sanguinary Guard models, and that for me will fix them. And even though everyone says take the swords because the swords are better, I'm doing one squad of 6 with the spears and one squad with the swords. Taking at least 9 Sanguinary Guard. Just because I think the spears look cooler, and I love that they have Lance. I mean, you could pay a command point to get Lance with, with the detachment anyways, but I think having Lance built in is pretty cool. The Sanguinor, 140 points for the ability to deep strike and heroically intervene on a combat in your turn on a combat with one of your units. I think that's awesome. 140 points is super cool to basically just have that backup plan ready to hit anywhere. So I like it. Sanguinor 140 points I think is good for it, and that is definitely one of the beautiful new models that I want to get. I do think that I've never been a fan of the Death Mask face on the Sanguinary Guard or the Sanguinor. I'm going to find something to replace that with. But other than that, I think it looks great. I'm 6 foot, 290 pounds. I'm very much the big old part. I always seem to make friends with people who are just freaking giants. So, Blood Angels, I think their codex came out well. Chaos Demons. I have a Chaos Demons boarding patrol, but I haven't quite gotten into them yet. Chaos Knights, Chaos Space Marines, the Dark Angels, who are going to be my White Scars. Azrael got nerfed, but I think still for as much as he brings to the table, a squad wide for invulnerable save, command point regeneration, plus just a beefy ass melee profile, I think 115 points is more than fair. I think that's a very generous nerf there, and I think that'll be cool. Deathwing Knights, I think because they are just so much more durable than any other Terminator in the game, I feel like they needed a bit of a nerf, and I feel like 250 points is just fine for them. Because they were just so leaps and bounds above everybody else's Terminators. Yeah, I think this is good. I think it's a good points nerf. Landspeeder Vengeance got discounted. Lionel Johnson. I love that all the both of the I want to say the light side, the loyal Primarchs have been dropped in points, so you can take Lionel Johnson for 285, which is great. The Ravenwing Command Squad. I am so see all the Ravenwing stuff is why I'm taking my White Scars as Dark Angels. Ravenwing Command Squad buffed 3 models, which I want to say is a champion, a veteran, and a banner person, which is great. 120 points. Adds some objective control. Adds that champion's beefy melee profile. Wait, is it a veteran or is it also an apothecary? I can't remember. Dark Talon, Dark Shroud, and then Samael. My Khan jet bike is what that's going to be. 115 points. Beautiful, beautiful. I think overall my White Scars list with these changes has come down by like 50 points or something like that. Maybe more. Death Guard, don't know him. I have inherited one of my best friends' Drukhari army. I'll have to learn about them at some point. Gene Stealer Cults, Grey Knights, Imperial Agents. Imperial Agents are only important because I have a couple of models I'm using for other armies. Inquisitor Draxus, untouched. I use her with my Custodes. Inquisitor Kotiaz, I use her, and I say her because my model is a Lady Kotiaz. I use her with my Catachan. 75 points, so all the stuff untouched, which is good. Imperial Knights. Canis Rex is the auto take of the Imperial Knights, so I think we all knew Canis Rex was getting a nerf sometime soon. Inquisitor Wrong Trousers. That's why I'm using a third-party model. Also, just because printing is cheap. It's the wrong trousers. Bunch of the knights, the Valiant, ooh, with that spear and triple melta. That's cool. The Knight Valiant, the Knight Errant, and the Knight Gallant all got some points buffs. Leagues of Votan for my man, Friendly Neighborhood Inquisitor. By the way, he had a very cool, very nice thank you video come out this past week. Please check out Friendly Neighborhood Inquisitor. You can either check him out there, because he's right here in the chat hanging with us, or you can find him in our links, the Friends of the Frosted Fists, down below. Check him out. But he's doing some Leagues of Votan. Hearthguard have been discounted. Well, their 10 models remains the same, but the 5 models looks like they got a bit of a discount. The Jaegers, however, brand new Jaegers. I think you are working on your first box and buying a second box. Oof. Oof, brand new models. Bit of a nerf. Necrons. I do plan on getting some Necrons at some point because my lovely wife wants to play Necrons whenever I can talk her around into playing some 40k with me. So I do plan on picking up some Necrons, but I don't know enough about them to talk about the points or the miniatures right now. Orcs, my boys. Oh, the Beastnagga boys, which are my favorite of the orc boys. A lot of old school, orc players don't like to hear it, but I love the new Beastnagga boys. They are my favorite of the troop choices, and they are nicely discounted. I think the boys also discounted. Yep. Whew, only 80 points for 10 boys. That is awesome. 95 for the Beastnaggas, but you're getting a better defense profile. You're getting some cool anti-vehicle rules with the Beastnaggas. Big Mech has come down to 70 points. Big Mech and Mega Armor down to 90. So basically all the Big Mechs came down 10 points, which is nice. The Death Dread, 120 points, which is good because I have like way too many Death Dreads that I could ever use. But yeah, I like putting them on the table. They're not good. I don't think Death Dreads are good, but I always enjoy running them. They usually die before they can do anything cool. I just like running them. Yeah, right now I'm painting a newly nerfed unit right now of the Jaegers. Brother Roxas! Yo! Hey, I'm going to switch over to ask Roxas some questions in the middle of my orc talk here. Boom! So, Brother Roxas, I got in the decals. Not decals. Oh my gosh, the word is escaping me again. Anyways, I got in the oh my gosh, the word is escaping me again. The templates, anyways, to spray the camo here. I'm like just looking at this, like, tell me the word I'm forgetting. Stencil, yes. I got in the stencils for the camo pattern for the Snow Owl. I was looking through the box you gave me. Were there only 2 boxes of Snow Ravens in here? There's 10 models here, but I want to say that initially in the box you gave me there were 3 boxes of Clan. 3 boxes of Inner Sphere, and only 2 boxes of Clan. Is that right? And then of course a boatload of mercenaries, but the mercenaries were the ones all out of box, right? Is it just the 2 boxes of Snow Ravens? Okay. For some reason I was like, I'm missing a box of Snow Ravens. Okay, cool. Cool. And the Big Mad Cat. Yep, got that one right here. Alright, so I'm going to paint those up as Snow Ravens, and then the mercenaries I'm going to try and go inspired by the art from the book. Because I feel like, the mercenaries wouldn't bother putting on any uniforms before going into battle, so I'm just going to paint them in kind of what they come in. And don't tell Kane. I don't think Kane watches my show. But one of the things I'm going to try and do before his birthday next month is I'm just adding a few units to his salamanders So I've got 6 aggressors here. So 6 flamer boys here. 3 of the Melta boys, who are really, I think, some of the best anti-tank in the Space Marine Codex. I have already done some plasma boys, the Hellblasters for them. I'm doing up a lieutenant to go with those plasma boys. And then I've got this guy in big dragon armor and a double-handed hammer to play the role of Primaris Captain Adrax Agatone. So yeah, I've got some stuff to add to Kane's army for next month. So the idea is to hopefully have that done by his birthday. And I've got a couple more pieces on the printer now. It is kind of neat that I've got almost an all printed Space Marine army for it, but usually mercs like to stand out so people know how awesome they are on the battlefield. That makes sense. Their custom paint jobs are probably like free advertising. All right, now that I have those questions aside and I've shown off the stuff for Kane, back to the show. Defcopters. I have 3 Defcopters myself, so 90 points, nice little discount. Some other discounts, the Gorkanaut is down a few points. The Kill Rig and Hunter Rig are down. The Commandos, you guys know I love my Commandos that I got from Spellcrow. So that'll be cool that they're cheaper now. I don't think I used the Commandos at all in 10th edition just because they were a little too expensive this edition. The Mega Knobs, they got hit hard in the last nerf, but they are back, baby. Which I think one of their whole detachment builds around Mega Knobs, so it was kind of sad that they like kicked a whole detachment down when they nerfed the Mega Knob so heavily. It's good that they're back though. Morkanauts are down. The Tank Busters are discounted, but I mean that's really kind of by the wayside because they're about to get a new Tank Busters kit, which is probably going to change their points anyways. But the big problem with Tank Busters right now is even though they are cheaper, is that their profiles are just all over the place. Because you got to take one with the Tank Hammer, which is a melee profile. You got to take one with the missile pistols, or the rocket pistols, which is a short range profile. And then if you're lucky, you get 3 with the actual rocket launchers, which is going to be a long range profile. And so you've got this very non-matching profile of 3 long range weapons, 1 short range weapon, and 1 melee weapon, and it just doesn't really work out super great. So it's cool that they're getting a better kit. Got back just in time for orcs. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So overall, I'm happy. I love that the Mega Knobs are back, baby. I love that the Commandos are back. Start putting my Commandos back on the field. I'm excited about the big mech, so I can put them with my man, my brain is just dying. What are my little grot turrets called? Mech guns. I'm like searching this document for answers. And I love that Beastagger Boys and Boys are super cheap again. That's so good. Defcopters, also so good. The Def Dread is still not good, but I like that you can take them cheaper now. And I talk trash about the Def Dread all the time, but I take them in every game. At least one. Sometimes two, often two. But I always take at least one Def Dread, even though I know they're not good. Hey, Fish, you play orcs all the time. I kind of, I play a lot of armies, so, I play orcs once in a while. Do you ever get the Def Dreads to actually do anything for you? Like, for me, they're a bit of fun. They do maybe a little bit of damage, but, like, they're often just, a big distraction target. What are your thoughts on the Death Dreads this edition? Fish, my man. All right. So for my man, well, for me, for my man Inquisitor, for my brother Kane, who's going to be having this army coming up, Codex Space Marines. All right, that Adrax Agatone I'm working on remains at 85 points. The Ballistus Dreadnought, really, I have one with 4. Is that the custom Mega Blasters? For my Dread Mob, I sold my others. They weren't rocking my sock. Exactly. Yeah, I've got one. I've got the one made by DePale Orc. It's called the Death Tread that he designed. That one's got the 4 custom Mega Blasters. But yeah, just they never do as much as I hope they do. I wish they were as reliable as a Space Marine Dreadnought, even if it's like the weaker Dreadnought, like the boxy Dreadnoughts. I just wish they were a little more reliable. Like, they're big and stompy like a Dreadnought. I kind of want them to do what a Dreadnought does. Anyways, the Ballistus Dreadnought. So, a great gun and missile platform down to a cheapest chips, 130 points. I think that makes it much more usable here. The Apothecary Biologus is up a few points to 70 points. They were one of the cheapest single character models, and they've gone up to 70 points. When you take full melee for 85 points last edition, they were perfect. Yeah, I mean they were good, especially if you took the pistons so that way you could get them into combat faster. Yeah, that was great. Just this edition, they're just not doing it for me. But so not only was and of course this is because a lot of people were doing the Gladius combo, doing the big damage combo in Gladius, and so the Apothecary is paying 20 points extra for that now, even though and just really nerfing that combo. And then on top of that, they put an FAQ that said before Space Wolves could take an Apothecary Biologus, which is new for Space Wolves. This first edition they could do so, take an Apothecary, because usually they can't, as long as they weren't taking the Space Wolves detachment. Now, with this nerf to the Biologus, they also came back and said, by the way, Space Wolves can no longer take the Apothecary Biologus in any detachment, even if they're not using the Space Wolves detachment. Which is kind of expected, but man, I just finished painting mine up not too long ago. Yeah, again, these nerfs were just so weird. Space Marines have been near the bottom of the win percentage, yet their good shit gets a hit. Unfortunately, it's because their good shit got hit because, like here, this Gladius combo with the Apothecary Biologus, Space Marines weren't doing well with it, but Dark Angels were doing great with it. And so because the Dark Angels ruined it for everyone, the Apothecary Biologus and the Eradicators took a big hit. So, unfortunately, Space Marines in general are paying for the sins of the Dark Angels. The Blood Angels were doing great with Assault Intercessors with jump packs, because Blood Angels are doing great with them. Unfortunately, all of Space Marines pays for the sins there. So, they got nerfed. Eradicator Squad is actually just an auto-include. They are the best anti-tank in the Space Marines Codex. And so that kind of makes sense that they took a hit. I mean, Eradicators are just so good. So efficient at what they do. Their range is really their only... yeah, Dark Angels always ruin everyone's fun, right? What was I saying? Oh yeah, Eradicators just... yeah, I mean, almost auto-include. They're just so good at what they do. Captain and Phobos armor got a nice little buff, 70 points. I still don't think anyone's going to take him unless you're running a theme Phobos armored or stealth armored detachment, like you're playing Raven Wings for funsies. You might take a Captain and Phobos armor, but that might be the only reason. Heavy Intercessors got a 5-point discount. I wish it were a little bit of a better discount, but I'm still You know, they are great objective holders, nice and chunky, and they get a heavy bolter. 95 points. It's good value, honestly. I think, so the problem there is that they are great objective holders, but their job is just done, from, in my opinion, better by the regular intercessors at only, intercessors, yeah, at only 80 points, so 15 points cheaper, because intercessors can just stand on it, say it's mine, and then they've got the sticky objective rule, so they mark it as theirs, and then they can leave and go off and do something else. And so they can do that a couple of times. I mean, mark a couple of objectives, or just mark their objective and move up the field. So while heavy intercessors have great durability and can do a great job of holding that objective, you know, I studied swordsmanship for many years, and we always say that the best block that you can have, you know, the best defense, the best block, people always, we number our blocks, right? In sword fighting, you know, like position 1, position 2, position 3, position 4, position 5 is just above your head. Position 6, of course, is, you know, a blade sweep or a riposte. And then, of course, position 7, we always say that the best defense or best block is to not touch the blade at all. The best defense is to simply not be there. In this case, like Piccolo, we always say, why don't you dodge? So that's kind of the idea there. It's like with the heavy intercessors, yeah, they've got a great defense, but if you can just mark it and not be there like the intercessors are really doing that job just better, honestly. And so it's like, I want to justify bringing them. I painted up 5 of these guys for my Ultramarines, but the fact that, like, you can just mark them with the intercessors and leave, it seems better. Like, I've painted them and I still haven't justified putting them in my list yet. I'm like, just the intercessors do it better. Other damn special legions ruining it for everyone else. I agree. And I am one of the special legions ruining it for everyone else. You know, like, I play Ultramarine, sure, so for some vanilla fun, but, you know, like, I play Space Wolves. In fact, I was one of the guys ruining it for everyone else, because I haven't even played a game with the Space Wolves detachment. My Space Wolves were all using the Storm Lance, abusing the heck out of Storm Lance. And then, of course, I have Blood Angels now. I have my White Scars use Dark Angels rules. So yeah, I'm part of that special legions ruining it for everyone else. I feel that. We deserve that. We deserve that. The Invader ATV is cheaper at 60 points for a mobile multi-melta platform. I think it's pretty good. The only problem is it used to be great when vehicles had an average toughness of 8, and so Melta could pretty easily melt through armor. Melta just isn't that good anymore, because, like, it's okay, but because most vehicles are now toughness 10 or more, that strength 8, strength 9 Melta shot is just not piercing armor anymore. Melta's in a really weird spot because it's an anti-vehicle weapon that struggles against vehicles. I feel like it's in a weird place, and I feel like they need to do something about Melta. I don't know what they would do to fix it. But if you do run an ATV, Melta is the way to go. Wolves ruin Stormlance. Dark Angels ruining the damn Apothecary. They're ruining Gladius in general, honestly. And damn Blood Angels ruin my Jump Intercessors. Agreed. It's funny because, you know, the topic has come up on Auspex Tactics several times now. He's asked for polls on what would you do to fix the special, you know, because, like, the problem is that the disparity between the special legions and the Codex compliant chapters is just so big. Like, people have no incentive to play Codex Space Marines when they can take their same units and say, I'm going to play them as Dark Angels, or I'm going to play them as Templars. Templars is another one I forgot to mention. Templars ruin Ironstorm for everybody because of their free multi-melts that they could slap on almost all of their vehicles. And so anyways, yeah, so there's no incentive for people to play and win and use Codex Space Marines. And on top of that, because the non-compliant legions are having so much success with the same rule set as Codex Space Marines are, they keep nerfing the stuff that Codex Space Marines uses, right? I feel like it's an easy fix, personally. And I know I'm going off on a side rant or tangent here, but I feel like they should just do what they did with Blood Angels and Space Wolves. They gave them more meaningful detachment rules to make their own rules look better, like more usable. Like when they fixed the Liberator Assault group for the Blood Angels, more people started playing the Blood Angels rules. When they fixed the Saga, system, the detachment rules for the Space Wolves, more people start playing Space Wolves. I say do that for all of the Special Legions and then lock them out of the Codex, honestly. Just take them away their ability to do Gladius or Stormlance or whatever. Make them use their own shit, personally, is what I think. Make them use their own shit and give them meaningful rules. Because, like, Blood Angels started doing way better once they got a decent detachment rule, right? Space Wolves started doing way better once they got decent detachment rules. Now, some of them are still using Stormlance, but I say now that they've got better rules, lock them out of Stormlance. Lock them out of the Codex. Can you send that to us? Send what to you? I missed it. I've said a lot of things. Yeah, but I just say that make their own rules more meaningful, their own detachment more meaningful, and just lock their asses out. Then, if there's no more Wolves ruining Stormlance, no more Templars ruining Ironstorm, no more Blood Angels not Blood Angels, Dark Angels ruining Gladius, you don't have that problem anymore. And then you can just balance Space Marine shit out amongst Space Marines and let the special snowflakes, and I say that being a special snowflake who likes my Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Space Wolves. Oh, what I have on screen. Yeah, of course. We'll just go to downloads. Sorry guys, it's just my ADD brain sending this to them while I'm thinking about it. Yeah, lock them out of the Codex, and then I think half these problems go away. Then you can just balance Space Marine crap out amongst Space Marines. Or just play orcs. The fighting is half the fun. And the infighting is half the fun. True. So anyways, yeah, I know I got on a big tangent there, but I think that's just the way to fix Codex Space Marines, personally. And then you can see in the Outrider squad here, that same discount on the ATV down to 60 points applies if you add the ATV to the Bike Rider squad. Other things, Reavers, 75 points for 5 models now. That's a pretty big points discount, and I still don't think they do anything. I mean, you can run them if you want to, I just don't think they do anything. Boots Gilliman, though, hey, Greg, your Gilliman, your G-Man is down to 285 points. That's a massive discount. Because he was like 3-something before, right? I think that's like a 50-point discount, Greg. You're going to be able to use Gilliman much cheaper now, which I'm sure Ashley's going to love. Ashley's just going to celebrate this discount right here. Robo Gilliman, 285 points. Greg is really happy. If you use these speeders, the Storm Speeder, Hail Strike, Hammer Strike, Thunder Strike, those are down in points. The Hail Strike, still not very good. I like the Hammer Strike and the Thunder Strike, though. Hell no, I'm not. Suppressor Squad. I think those autocannons are looking better at 75 points now. Especially if you just want to drop them down, do some lone operative stuff in the back, you know, have them drop down and say, take a point, you know, as in take an objective, or get, you know, behind enemy lines, or get table quarters, have them just sit there in the back and then wail away with some autocannons at your opponent. Now, because they moved, are they going to get the best ballistic skill possible with their heavy penalty? No, but I mean, an autocannon is flat damage 3. So even if you just sneak past 1 or 2 shots, flat damage 3 is still good. The Terminator assault squads and Terminator squads are much cheaper than they used to be. I always like Terminators. They're big, beefy models that got great melee capability. Their damage at range isn't much to write home about, but you could always slip on a missile launcher or a assault cannon, chip away some extra wounds there, and then once they get those power fists or those thunder hammers in range, bam, just punch them in the face. So Terminators being cheaper, I think, is always a good thing. Uriel Ventress, his points did not change, still cheap and cheerful at 75 points, but now he has an ability that they gave him a new ability, which if your opponent uses a stratagem within 18 inches of him, 12 inches, I want to say 18 inches of him, it might be 12, but yeah, uses it in range of him, he can make that stratagem cost 1 command point more, which is awesome. I mean, even if it's something like, you know, I don't know, whatever their stratagems are, making them more expensive is so good. It really kills me how useless Reavers are. They look so damn cool and about as useless as a snooze button on a smoke alarm. Exactly. Exactly. I want to like the models because they look cool. I have some painted up for my White Scars. I have some I never even finished painting for my Space Wolves just because, like you said, I want to like them. They're just kind of useless. I mean, having, you know, the -1, you know, the heavy bolt pistols aren't bad. They're just not good. I want them to be better. Even if you just gave them a pip of AP on their combat knives, that would make them so much better. That just one little tweak there could make them better. Just do something to make them good. This was another weird one because competitively, like, I understand Blood Angels make anything jump packs good, but Vanguard Veterans with jump packs, nobody uses those anymore. Ever since the jump pack intercessors came out, nobody really uses the Vanguard Veteran Squad with jump packs because all of it's the same Firstborn problem, any of the special Firstborn squads. All of their cool ass weapons have been replaced with antique weapons where they're like strength 5 -1. Even if you have your dudes modeled with thunder hammers and power fists, they've all got the strength 5 -1 AP, one single freaking damage for your special ass weapons on these guys. Nobody uses Vanguard Veteran jump packs. I don't understand why they took such a hit. That was a weird nerf there. The only use is pair them with the Phobos Lieutenant, deep strike them, and do some shenanigans, but even then, there's way better things you can do. Exactly. Exactly. Honestly, at the same 75 points in, I would rather deep strike in the suppressors, because at least then you get the autocannons that, if you sneak by 1 shot, you're getting 3 damage in. And they have at least 1 pip of AP. I guess if you're talking about with the heavy bolt pistols, they get 1 AP as well. But you're getting 1 AP for 1 damage with the Reavers. You're getting 1 AP for 3 damage with the autocannons on the suppressors. And on top of that, the autocannons just have a way longer range too. So I would rather deep strike. Personally, I would rather deep strike the suppressors than the Reavers. Exactly. It took 20 seconds to find a better use of the same 75 points. Exactly. I want them to be cool. Honestly, because they do come with with bolt pistols and combat knives, I almost just want to like slap a sniper rifle on one of them, and then boom, you could just use them as primary scouts. Honestly, they do make cool. I mean, in my opinion, because I have no nostalgia for the older looking scout models, I think they just make better looking scouts. Actually, that might be something for me to do, is just do some chopping and changing and make them some Space Wolf scouts. Good thinking, Mythos. Also, just to touch on fire discipline for the Gladius task force with that. So this was the combo. Used to take this enhancement, fire discipline, put that on the apothecary biologus, and then get some ridiculous combos off in Gladius task force. That's one of the reasons. So fire discipline itself went up to 40 points, which I think is double. I think it was 20 points before. So that's double points there. Plus they nerfed the apothecary biologus. So they really smacked this combo down. All because, honestly, all because of Dark Angels. Grievers would have to be super cheap, like 50 points, just so that way they can be cheap screen easy. I agree, my friend. I agree. Space Wolves. My first love. Bjorn the Fell-Handed. He has always been kind of an auto-include for the Space Wolves. I'm not surprised he went up to 190 points. Hate to see it, but I understand. Logan Grimnar. Also, in his Terminator armor anyways, got nerfed up to 115 points. He does bring a lot to the table for what he does. I mean, he's got good damage. He has in his Terminator armor, he's got Deep Strike. He's got the once per game army-wide advance and charge. Or is it reroll charges? And yeah, it's reroll, or it's advance and charge and reroll hits during the charge. It's so good. He brings honestly a lot for his Terminator to the team. So he was really great paired into a Terminator squad. But then also his Storm Rider is the same. It didn't get nerfed, which is great because he leads cavalry, and cavalry, well, cavalry and Stormlance have been doing a lot of shenanigans, and they've been one of the top 3 for many competitive weeks now. And so Thunderbolt Cavalry got smacked pretty hard on the nose with the rolled up newspaper, unfortunately. So they are now 120 points for 3 models. That is 20 points of increase per squad of 3. So, and since most of the competitive armies were taking, full 18, that's 40 times 3. That's 120 points across that army. So that's a pretty big nerf there. So I think that's all the Space Marines. We've got Tau here. We've got Thousand Suns. Don't know them. Tyranids. I don't know anything about Tyranids, but since we have Ashley here in the chat, Carnifexes got a nice discount down to 115 per model. Von Ryan's Leapers, those models look really cool. Discounted to 70 points for every 3 models. Oh, the Winged Hive Tyrant. I think every Tyranid list needs a Winged Hive Tyrant. Even though they're not as competitive as they used to be, I've always thought they were just really cool. They're down to 200 points. Now the nerfs. The Lictor took a very minor nerf. It's 60 points a model now. Pyrovores are 40 points a model. Oh, One Eye is 150 points a model. So not a lot of changes across Tyranids, but a couple of good discounts. World Eaters, don't know them. Okay, that is everything, guys. Oh my goodness. And we've got like 15 minutes left in the stream just to talk about a couple of new models. New World Order. What was the old One Eye? Tyranids old One Eye. All right. So this is Edict Beard's Old One Eye. That's what the model looks like. I don't know if there's a newer model, but this is Edict Beard's. Oh, the points. Boop, 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 boop. I want to say it was 150. Let's take a look. Old One Eye got nerfed 150 points. I don't know what he was before, but he's 150 points now. And just out of curiosity, let's go to all Tyranids Old One Eye Wahapedia. Because now I'm curious. Lexicanum Wahapedia, Old One Eye. Let's see what this guy does. In the book it says 140. Okay, that's only a 10-point nerf. 10 points, not too bad. Broodlord, Hive Tyrant, Neuro Tyrant, Old One Eye. Let's take a look. Alright, movement of 8, toughness 9, 2+ save, that seems pretty good, 9 wounds, leadership 8, OC 3. He's got melee weapons, a sweep and a strike profile. So if you're going if you're going for horde clearing, you get a whopping 12 attacks on 3+, strength 6, -1 AP, 1 damage. So that would be good if you're clearing out orcs that only have like 1 wound, -1 AP. Put them on 6s to save. So you can clear quite a few orcs that way, or other infantry like Imperial Guard. Space Marines would be a little tougher because they're 2 wound models. But yeah, that's pretty good. If you wanted to go strike for their more powerful profile, you get 6 attacks, hitting on 3s. Strength 14. That means at worst, you're probably wounding on 3s. AP -3, that's a good chance, you know, unless they have an invul save, you're getting through. And then D6 +1 damage. That's pretty awesome. You're getting a Feel No Pain of 5+, which is good. They get the Faction Synapse ability. They get the Alpha Leader. When this model is leading unit, it can make a... each time a model makes an attack, you can make them re-roll the hit roll. So suddenly all this hitting on 3s isn't so bad. What can they lead, by the way? They can lead Carnifexes. Very nice. I used him on Keegan's Necrons. If you can hit, it's pretty good. Nice. Well, don't forget, while he's leading a squad, he and the whole squad get to re-roll all of their hit rolls. So, yeah. That should help you hit a little better. And then at the start of each player's command phase, each player's command phase. That means you're healing on your own turn and you're healing on your enemy's turn. That's awesome. That's basically twice each round you get to heal. D3 lost wounds. That makes this guy a beast. I like it. I like it a lot. Oh, don't have any of the other models yet. Oh, okay, we'll have to get you some Carnifexes. Hey, we'll look at some files and then, you know, we'll fire up that print of yours, all right? All right. All right. I was lost for a second. Like, what was I doing? We were going on to the other 2 articles I wanted to look at. No, that's Art of the Week. Nope, that's Calling All Wolf Lords. Tabletop news. All right. The first thing I wanted to look at is the bike. Embrace 3-wheeled freedom with the new Squat Scout Trike. Look at this beauty right here. The Ironhead Squat Prospectors are some of the roughest, toughest fighters in Necromunda. But while they're known for their grit and gear, they've never quite garnered a reputation for speed. Heavy kit and naturally chunky legs sabotage their sprinting dreams. But as with all things in Necromunda mining clans, technology finds a way. As it turns out, that way has 3 wheels. Look at this. I don't know what it is about this bike I love so much. I think part of it is the curved dome at the top. That curved dome at the top reminds me of the bike from Akira. If any have any anime fans here in the chat. But yeah, so Kaneda's bike in Akira had that same kind of like big wheel in the back with that little curved dome up top. I think that's why I like this so much, because it reminds me of Kaneda's bike in Akira. But super cool. Man, I don't even play dwarves, and I want to like get this to use it for something. I'm just sitting here, sorry, I got quiet, just daydreaming, like, what can I convert this for? All right, yeah, so I love the design here. Looks like you've got a bit of a machine gun on this side. Looks like maybe a melted gun on this side. Pretty cool looking. Dwarfs, gorgeous models. Yes, this is a dwarf in space. And then he does the power slide that appears to appeared in literally anything that has a motorcycle ever since. Exactly, that power slide is in everything. Man, I once saw an art piece of a diorama somebody converted out of the Primaris Outrider bikes, and they did it inspired by Akira, and they did the power slide pose, and I thought that was perfect. All right, the Svenatar Scout Trike is the vehicle of choice when the Ironheads range out into the wastes from their loggers, giant pneumatic clamps formed from temporarily stationary land trains. Their speed and rugged reliability allow small teams of squats to crisscross the ash wastes much faster than their Scalvian explorators, rooting out promising ore veins and chasing down rumors of lost archaeotech. Each trike is also equipped to deal with ever-present dangers of the ash wastes. A twin-linked hardpoint up front can be equipped with your choice of Ironhead autogun, Ironhead bolt gun, or melt-a-gun, while the vehicle itself can take all kinds of upgrades over the course of the campaign, from crash cages and a blade of armor to booby-trapped fuel tanks and archaeotech reactors. That's awesome. One of the more unique upgrades the Svenatar can handle is a control unit for a Techmite Oculi, a floating drone that follows its host trike and scouts for targets. These advanced machines can travel much further from their controllers than similar automatons and are usually employed to hunt down entrenched enemies before transmitting accurate targeting data back to their owners. Scout drone. The Techmite Oculi can range further from the owners than most exotic beasts. They must remain within 18 inches of their owners rather than 3 inches. That's a pretty big boost. Target paint. While at least one Techmite Oculi is within 6 inches of an enemy model, their owner reduces any negative modifiers to hit that model due to cover by 1. That did originate from Akira, right? The first I know of it. I mean, if it's from anywhere before that, I just don't know of it. The new kit comes with 2 Scout Trikes and 2 Techmites with an arm and head options to distinguish your riders. They're a great way to add some fast firepower to your otherwise ponderous Ironhead squat prospector gains and work wonderfully alongside the super heavy Exokin we showed last week. Very cool. And the Exokin that they were just discussing is their new Terminator looking armor. It's a dangerous place. Not a moment goes by in Hive Primus without deadly gunfights breaking out between gangs somewhere. The Ashways are crammed with roving nomads, hungry fauna, and lethal weather conditions. and the underhells of Hive Secundus are teeming with malformed gene stealers. What's a humble squat prospector do in such a big bad world? Don a mighty exosuit to start kicking ass and taking names, that's what. The stalwart miners, warriors, and merchants known as the Ironhead Squat Prospectors are rolling out the big guns. They're staking the largest claim of all, inheritance of the wastelands, and their indomitable exokin are the latest to leave the halls of the ancestors. That's some pretty cool looking armor. Very simple, very rounded and bubbly. It kind of reminds me of like the way sci-fi looked, you know, in like the, you know, the 60s, 70s. Very also inspired by that same time period. Very Fallout-y. You know, big bubbly kind of armor plates, you know. Like the armor here kind of reminds me of the robot from Meet the Robinsons, you know. Lost in space, that kind of thing. Exosuits are based on the ancient void suits it's based on the ancient void suits used by their ancestors, providing unparalleled protection from environmental hazards, profoundly inclement weather, and the deadly beasts out in the wastes. These high-tech suits are intended for deep core mining activities, but also perfectly suited for prospecting the abyssal depths of the sump seas for forgotten treasures. When the Ironhead Squat Prospectors need to enforce control over one of their many claims, the Exokin simply turn their excavator hammers, rock saws, hydraulic drills, and storm welders onto softer targets with messy results. I love this rock grinder arm here. Little power fist. I like this claw with the little like laser attachment here. And this gun kind of reminds me of the arc welder from Dead Space a little bit. Just an underslung version. Alright, this guy with the big ass hammer. He looks like he's ready to put in some work. Little mining droid here. Another power fist and rock grinder here. But man, with that bubble helmet and the bubble shape of the suit, I almost want to replace that with a drill, and then you've got kind of a short Big Daddy from BioShock, which is pretty cool. Okay, now I want to get up a bunch of them and paint them up like, you know, inspired by BioShock. Those arms will look great on the iron here Hearthguard. Very true. Gotta go. Have a good night. We're just about to wrap it up anyway. So you have a wonderful night and an amazing weekend, Ashley. Accompanying the X-Kin are hardy Automa encased in the same Ferromite armor. The Techmite excavator is more resilient than the standard Techmite Autoveyor, and the robust platform can be equipped with 2 mining tools to use as weapons. Very cool. Alright, and the last thing I wanted to look at, because I talked about dwarfs in space, and we got some orcs in space, and we got some hobbits in space. So we've got the new Tank Busters coming out. This is the Boss Knob. Looks like he's got a hammer here and a pistol, which looks cool. I really like the mask on this guy too. And I think the like the little stomach plate and the legs and the, like, you know, the cloth here are all like very, very, you know, a good throwback to the classic orcs, while still got the cool looking new sculpt. Here, I love this guy. I don't know what this Crusher is. What is this Crusher? It looks so cool. I don't know what his rules are going to be, but I just love the way that looks. Like, I feel like that meme. I love them. I like it. I love it. Give me 10 of them. You want to know what's in here? Just give me 10 of them. Of course, rocket hammer here. Very interesting. I love how armored these guys look too, knowing that they're messing around with demolitions. New Tank Busters get an A+++ from me. 11 out of 10. No notes. I agree, man. They look so good. I think with looking at these loadouts, I think they're still going to have the same problem of having the mixed range loadouts. You know, the rocket pistols, melee weapons. Yeah, then of course you got your full range rockets. They may have some of the same problems, but I don't know. The cool new kit I think is going to be worth it. It just looks great. Fisto is my favorite. Fisto the Magnificent. Gosh, these guys just look so good. And of course we get new sculpts for bomb squigs, which is even better. That's honestly one of the best parts of the kit. It's getting more bomb squigs. My only complaint was that I had just 15 kit bashed at the start of 10th. Oof. Yeah, I'm super happy with the tank bustas. I don't know, because these are all, not Necromunda, these are all kill team rules. I don't know what they're going to do in 40k, but I will be waiting with bated breath to see what kind of rules they're going to get for the 40k tabletop. I love all of these sculpts. What if you had 37 more? See, this is the way. All right, and then of course we have the Hobbits in space, the Imperial Guard Ratlings. A lot of people thought, because the abhumans haven't been very well supported, that these were going to go the way of the squats, you know, before they came back. But these gorgeous new you know, gorgeous for hobbitses, you know, these amazing looking sculpts though are going to be really cool. I love the sniper rifle on the freaking bipod here. You know, it's all set up on. Actually, it might even be, yeah. It's got its, like, you know, it's got its legs out ready for that sniper shot. I think that's perfect. I love, love, love the beard, the beret, the coffee cup, and the binoculars here. Like, I want this coffee cup hand to put on one of my Imperial Guard officers. So, those of you who don't know this about me, I am one of those guys. I'm one of those fanfic writers, at least in my head, where I have to make a self-insert character for all of my armies. So I have a version of me in my Space Wolves, in my White Scars, in my Imperial Guard, yada, 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 in my Orcs. And I would love to just put this coffee cup in my hand. Because I'm one of those people that have to have a cup of coffee all throughout the day. Like just 7 cups of coffee throughout the day. And that's me. And I think this is what I need right here. I don't want to be a Hobbit, of course. I'm already very sensitive about my height. And, you know, I always feel weird having bare feet out in public. So, you know, I don't want to be a Hobbit, but I want to take that coffee cup hand, use it in a conversion. I really love the sniper rifle here. It does look like they're going to go kind of the way of scouts now, instead of being a full squad of snipers, to like restricting snipers to like 1 or 2 people in the unit. Because this guy here, it looks like he's got a knife and a regular las cannon, or not las cannon, las rifle or las carbine of some sort. Same here. Love the characterfulness, by the way. Like I said, the beard, the coffee cup here. You know, this guy chilling on a rock, so characterful. The head bandage here with his knife and his rifle. So cool. This guy, that is definitely a distance finder, like one you could find on a golf course. And again, looks like just some kind of las carbine here. You got a demolitions expert here. You can see him rigging up some tripwire between rocks. And I love that this guy's like blind in one eye. He's got a prosthetic arm, you know, ostensibly from where he blew off his own arm at some point, blew out his own eyes. So Bomber, I almost feel like Bomber is one of those ironic names, like, you know, calling a big guy tiny. Just because, you know, they call him Bomber, and he does work with the demolitions, but he's obviously not the best, you know, demolitions guy they've ever had, with the amount he seems to have blown himself up. I love this guy. He's Stash Master because, you know, he seems to have like the extra big backpack like he's the quartermaster. But also because he's rocking a stash. He's the Stash Master and he's the Stash Master, huh? Love it. Hey, I love it, okay? Whoever named this guy needs a raise. I also think he looks like a Hobbit version of Mario from Mario Brothers. Specifically, I feel like he looks like the version of Mario from either the Mario Brothers movie, Super Mario Brothers, or the old like 80s TV show Super Mario Brothers. Like he looks exactly like the actor. Oh, he really does. Raider here. Look at that. He's so cool looking. Grappling hook here. I wonder if that grappling hook's going to have any 40k rules. He looks really cool, though. But notice, there's only been, like, one full-size sniper rifle. Like, I think this guy... Like, okay, these rifles do look sniper-esque, but I really feel like they're more carbines. Like, I feel like this is going to be the sniper rifle. That one looks more like purpose-made sniper rifle. I feel like these are going to be more like carbines. That's carbines. So again, Ratling's going from being all sniper rifles to, you know, I think this is going to be shorter, you know, like less purposeful. I think it's going to be more like a carbine. It's going to be interesting. Vox Thief. Now this is, they could have just called this guy a Vox Caster. They call him Vox Thief. So I wonder if he's just going to get regular Vox Caster rules in the 40k, or if he's going to do something special, like maybe steal command points from your opponent. I know it's not the Mario you meant, but now that Ratling must be called Lou Albano. Okay, I'm going to forgive my ignorance. Lou Albano. Mario. Oh, that's him! Yeah! The Mario Brothers from like the 80s show. That's exactly who I was thinking of. Mario. And what you... Lou Albano was the Mario host to the cartoon. Yes. For some reason, when I enjoyed that show growing up, but for some reason the episode that lives rent free in my head the most is the episode where he and Luigi are both obsessed with Elvis, but they're both obsessed with different time period Elvises. He was a wrestler? I never knew that about him. I always just knew him as Mario. Sneak, I think, is the coolest looking of these guys. Where he's got like the, you know, the Sam Fisher eyepiece here. He's got the, you know, the stealth mask here. He's got his carbine. He's got the cloak. And then, of course, I think he's the coolest looking Hobbit. But the best member of the pack, even better than Stash Master, is Battle Mutt. I got to get me a Battle Mutt. You guys know that I freaking love my Imperial Guard, and I'm definitely going to have to add a squad of these guys to my guard. Anybody else see the episode of that Mario Brothers cartoon where Mario and Luigi were obsessed with Elvis? That, like I said, that really lives rent free in my head all the time. Yeah, that's why Sergeant Slaughter appeared in the show too. Man, I don't think I ever saw that episode with Sergeant Slaughter. That's so cool. Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has left the building. All right, guys, that has been. I think that was a lot of fun, guys. First of all, I needed this show. I appreciate all you guys being here because with everything that was going on, work, even vacation, stuff like that, I feel like I was away from the hobby for too long, and I needed this come back and just be able to chat hobby with you guys. And seeing some of those amazing new models coming up, the squat trike bikers, those look cool. The freaking tank busters, the hobbitses, The battle mutt, all of them just look so cool. Also, I feel like I need to get a second battle mutt so I could paint one up white, because a friend of the channel, Mini War Mutt, his logo is a white mutt, and I need to paint up one of these battle mutts in white, and then with he is white and red for his logo, so I'll make like the backpack harness on him red, paint the mutt white, and send it off to Brian from Mini War Mutt as a little mascot. But guys, I had a ton of fun on this show. I really loved all the models we just looked at. The point stuff was cool. I mean, I'm glad to see like my Custodes dreadnoughts are more usable. I love the changes for the guard, tank commanders being the best part, I think. The Space Marine stuff, it's good to see that the Primarchs are more usable now. So even further incentive, especially since my Primarch is the only thing in my painting challenge I didn't get to. So even more incentive to paint him up now that he's been buffed in points. So I can put him on the tabletop. That's going to be cool. Yeah, I'm really excited for a lot of changes coming. Obviously, there are a lot of things that I'm not happy with the nerfs, like the Assault Intercessors, the Eradicators, you know, stuff I enjoyed using. But yeah, gotta take the good with the bad sometimes, right? I'm really hyped about this Battletech project I've got coming up. I'll bring you guys on that journey. The Salamanders project I've got coming up for Brother Kane's birthday. If I have any local friends of the channel who know Brother Kane, don't tell him. I'm pretty sure he doesn't watch the show. So, you know, just mum's the word, right? Yeah, just cool stuff coming up, guys. And I have half a mind to do a little video on how I paint up salamanders anyway, so you know, this could be a good opportunity to do some content for the channel. Anyways, great chat tonight, guys. Thank you so much for being here with tonight. If you guys liked tonight's episode, please make sure that you grab up an ox and smash that like button in the name of the Emperor. Drop me some comments down in the box below. Feel free to be any of tonight's ridiculous conversations, or let us know what you think of some of the points changes to your army in this balance update. And are you guys excited for any of the upcoming models that we looked at? And if you guys are not yet part of the pack, then of course check out the Friends of the Frost and Fist in our link tree below. Check out a bunch of our friends there, such as Mr. Fish, Friendly Neighborhood Inquisitor, Gamers with Coffee, Mini War Mutt. Check out all of our friends there in the list. Let them know Wolfbrother Mythos sent you. And yeah, if you guys get the opportunity, then we'd love to have you as part of the pack here on the Frost and Fist as well. So subscribe. Until next time, guys, stay frosty.